So here we go. We have the #1 selling artist in the set releasing the #1 player in the set, but from a sales perspective, it is the #2 player. How is this card going to shake out today in Project 70? And the Twitter poll results are this. You all want to win that Joey Votto by Blake Jameson. So right now in the comments, leave your print run guess for that Joey Votto. And now hopefully by now you have put in your print run guess for that Joey Votto by Blake Jameson on my Monday night video. If you have not finished this video, and then go to the Monday night video, watch it and put your print run guess in the comments. But welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris, otherwise I'm on Twitter and Instagram is at CRT_sportscards. And if you want to go to the website for the best resource around Project 70, it is my website, CRTsportscards.com. And now if you go back and listen to the beginning again, I think I said my name incorrectly, but maybe that's just my ear hearing something that's not really there. But look, this is the day that we've all been waiting for. This is the day where Alex Pardee releases his Shohei Ohtani. For the 23rd time in the set, we have now seen an Ohtani card. Are we going to see 40 to 45 releases from him? We know that Joshua Vides is not going to release one because he doesn't play for the Yankees, but maybe we're going to get to 45 or 46. Only time will tell. But now, while Ohtani is the #1 release player in the set, he is, though, not the #1 selling player in the set. That right now belongs to Fernando Tatis Jr. Tatis, over 20 cards, has sold 109,000 Project 70 base cards, and Ohtani, through 22 releases, has sold 106,000. So look, very, very strong numbers. But now, why do I bring all of that up? All of those numbers, of course, on the website. They can be referenced at any single time. But this weekend, I said to myself, why do artists release Shohei Ohtani? Yes, of course, he is the #1 player in baseball right now. Well, maybe if you're in America, if you're in Canada right now, you might say Vlad Jr. right now is the MVP and the #1 player, but you cannot underestimate the selling ability right now of Ohtani in Project 70. So now what I thought I would find when I built this chart around explaining why an artist releases Ohtani, I thought it might be a thing to where when you look at their overall print run, every artist was going to be at 25 or 30% of their total cards sold are Ohtani. And we know at the end of the day, look, this is a money game. The artists want to make as much money as possible, but something else came out of this. And here is that chart, and I'll blow it up here in a second, but what you're looking at is in order of Ohtani releases. You have the artist, then you have the amount of cards the artist has released, you have the Ohtani print run number, and then you have their total sales. The number, though, that I want you to take a look at is at the very, very bottom. You have 106,000 Ohtanis, and you have a total print run of all of the artists so far over 670,000. But what that means is Ohtani represents 15% of their entire print run. So when you take a look at like Jeff Staple there, he has a print run total of like 30%, which means he way outperformed what you'd expect from Ohtani. But then you look at like Sophia Chang, under 10%. So you'd argue right there that Ohtani underperformed because you ideally want to be at 15%. But where am I going with this? I'm getting to a point here when it comes to Alex Pardee. Where are we going to have this Ohtani land? Because look, this Ohtani is divisive. It is an interesting take on Ohtani. I'm not sure I still really understand what the message here is of Ohtani. Yes, you have the batter, you have the pitcher, but you have that tumor on the back of him with a bat. I still think of Ohtani more as a batter than a pitcher, but Alex Pardee here has taken the pitcher route with throwing on the evil twin or something on the back with a bat. But if this Ohtani does not come out at over 19,000 copies sold, this is an underperforming Ohtani. But now, why do I say 19,000 is the number when it comes to measuring this card, whether it's a success or a failure? It is because right now in Project 70, Alex Pardee has sold over 126,000 cards. So that number is just 15% of his print run. And look, now I'm treading very lightly here when I use the word success or failure. A card printing at 14,000 right now is not a failure in Project 70, but if Alex Pardee wants to live up to his name in the second half of Project 70, he must do everything in his power to deliver this card over 20,000. And if he wanted to really produce the best producing Ohtani in the set in relation to his print run, we're looking at a card right now over 30,000 copies and the #1 printed card in the set. So the ball is in your court, Alex. How are you going to promote this card and how are the fans going to receive it? Because right now, I don't know if this card's going to do more than 19,000. But now, who else is joining Alex Pardee and Shohei Ohtani on basically Gauntlet Day in Project 70? We have Pose releasing the second Larry Dobby. We also have Vlad Jr. by FDot. And then ending the day, we have Headband Warrior, Cody Bellinger by Gregory Siff. And that Headband Warrior comment for Cody Bellinger is taken straight from Gregory Siff's reply to me on Twitter when I said, hey, look, it's another no hat card. But he said Headband Warrior. So we'll leave it at that. But for my no hat collection, this is an automatic ad. Also, I'm collecting Gregory Siff. This is an automatic buy twice. Because of that, this is also the second card from 1952 Topps. But look, I get it. As a person who is a fan of Project 70, we have Cody Bellinger. It really feels like we've seen enough Cody Bellinger for the year. And if you're not really a Gregory Siff fan and you're not a Bellinger fan, this is going to be an easy pass for you. The biggest question on all three of these other cards is, are people out there just going to buy the Pardee, or are fans out there going to buy this 4-pack and really drive up these three print numbers? Because this Bellinger could easily fall under 1,000 if it wasn't for that Ohtani Pardee. And so while it is very easy to get tired of seeing Ohtani, seeing Bellinger, maybe even Vlad Jr. to a degree, for only the second time we now have Larry Dobby in the set, even though Pose basically cut off his head and made the Indians name right there on his shoulder. So I'm a little confused. I know Pose has been giving us kind of two poses on the beginning of his cards. They've changed here recently, but that sort of just cutting of the head off is really kind of made me take a different look at the card. Maybe it isn't as straightforward and simple as we expect it to be. Yes, they're going to be the Guardians in the future, but having Larry Dobby's head just cut off like that, I'm like, that's probably going to be an easy pass for me. But let's now bring it home on a very, very lucky number. For the 13th time, we've now seen Vladdy Jr. in the set, courtesy of FDot, who this is also FDot's 13th card in Project 70. But what is the most distinct feature about this card? You have to go all the way back to the beginning of Project 2020. FDot's very, very first card. So I went ahead and pulled it out from the archives to show on the show today, and it is, of course, his Mark McGwire. But there it is. There is FDot's very first card, card number 17 in Project 2020. But you have stained glass backdrop for that McGwire. And now on the Vlad Jr., you also have that stained glass background. So for me, as a Project 2020 fan, I was really, really happy to see this because he went far away from the stained glass design in his Project 2020. He got home with it on his 20th card, but I know there are fans out there who wanted more stained glass work from FDot, and I know this is something that is near and dear to him. And let's not forget the fact that there are 3 Vladdy Juniors on the card. This is also from 1982 Topps. So you have my birth year, you have my favorite number. The only thing that could make this card better is if Vladdy did not have a hat on, but we can't have everything in life and in this set, so this card for me is really a microcosm of Project 70 overall. But it was a great release from FDot because I love to see the stained glass backdrops that he designs. This will now complete your Tuesday night daily download for Topps Project 70. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And so what you're seeing here, so just as a, okay. And so here's what I want you to, dang it. And so look, dang it.